वंदे मातरम। खुश रहो अहले वतन, हम अपना फर्ज निभा के चले, कभी बुझने न देना उस आग को, आग सीनों में हम जो लगा के चले। क्या हुआ नींद आई जो हम सो गए, हम तुम्हारे वतन को जगा के चले। याद आए हमारी तो रोना नहीं, याद आए हमारी तो रोना नहीं, तुमको आजादी का रंग लगा के चले, तुमको आजादी का रंग लगा।
सभी अपना स्थान ग्रहण कर लें, कुछ ही समय में डीआरएम साहब पधार रहे हैं, कृपया सभी स्थान ग्रहण कर लें।
के चले मातरम, वंदे मातरम। खुश रहो अहले वतन, हम अपना फर्ज निभा के चले, कभी बुझने न देना उस आग को, आग सीनों में हम जो लगा के चले। क्या हुआ नींद आई जो हम सो गए, हम तुम्हारे वतन को जगा के चले। याद आए हमारी तो रोना नहीं, याद आए हमारी तो।
आज स्वतंत्रता दिवस के 75वीं वर्षगांठ के अवसर पर मंडल रेल प्रबंधक जी तथा उनके साथ उपस्थित सभी अधिकारियों, WRWW और कर्मचारियों का हम स्वागत करते हैं। मंडल रेल प्रबंधक जी का आगमन हो चुका है। मैं सीनियर डीएससी जी से निवेदन करूंगा कि वे मंडल रेल प्रबंधक जी का आगवानी कर उनको रेलवे में शहीद हुए कर्मचारियों को श्रद्धांजलि देने के लिए श्रद्धांजलि स्थल तक ले जाएं।
खुश रहो अहले वतन, हम अपना फर्ज निभा के चले, कभी बुझने न देना उस आग को, आग सीनों में हम जो लगा के चले। क्या हुआ नींद आई जो हम सो गए, हम तुम्हारे वतन को जगा के चले। याद आए हमारी तो रोना नहीं, याद आए हमारी तो रोना नहीं, तुमको आजादी का रंग लगा के चले, तुमको आजादी का रंग लगा के चले तुमको
प्रबंधक जी से निवेदन करूंगा कि वे आरपीएफ परेड का निरीक्षण करें। सर नेक्स्ट
रेलवे सुरक्षा बल की परेड आपके निरीक्षण के लिए तैयार है।
मैं मंडल रेल प्रबंधक जी से निवेदन करूंगा कि वे हमें स्वतंत्रता दिवस के 75वीं वर्षगांठ को, जिसे हम अमृत महोत्सव के रूप में मना रहे हैं, के उपलक्ष्य में संबोधित करें। और
A very good morning to you all. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to wish all of you a solemn 75th year of Indian independence. I think it is a time where we need to just reflect what we were 75 years back and what we are today. We all know that right from 1757 to 1947, over a period of 190 years, the policies, be it economic, political, social, technological, of the government in place at that time, basically for initially the East India Company and then the British, were all tailored towards the strategic, economic and political and administrative requirements of purely in the interests of the British. And consequently, in 1947, when independence was declared on the 15th of August, India was left in a state. It is mentioned in the Gazette that almost $47 trillion worth of wealth has been taken back to Britain during that time. India was left severely impoverished, and be it malnutrition, general health, education, economic development, poverty levels, all were at an abysmal low. So it is time to actually see where we stand in terms of many of these indices as we celebrate the 75th year of independence. It is a matter of real pride for all of us that during these 75 years, independence has delivered. If you look at the GDP which was measured at that time in 1947, it is mentioned in the records that the GDP of the country was 2.7 lakh crore of rupees. And if you consider the GDP in nominal terms today, we have just crossed around 3.3 billion trillion US dollars. A trillion is 10 power 12 US dollars in terms of the real measurement of GDP. While we all know that GDP itself is not an exact measure for the growth of the country, we should look at all the other factors too. If you look at per capita income used to be around 80 US dollars in 1947, whereas today in the country it is almost around 2,200 US dollars, almost a growth of around 30 times in the last 75 years. Again, this is not a reflective of the all-round development. You should take the sectors of health, for example. The average life expectancy at 1947 was around 32 years. So a person is expected to live on an average for 32 years. Whereas today we can proudly say that the average life expectancy is 72 years. Not only that, you look at the poverty levels. Poverty is measured all over the globe in terms of a single norm. Extreme poverty is measured with respect to a poverty level of 1.9 US dollars per day. With respect to this metric, almost 95% of the Indians in 1947 were below poverty line. And today, as we stand, we are almost around 80%, and hardly it is told that we are reaching single digit figures in this month. So we are around 9% are only below the poverty line. If you look at the social indicators in terms of literacy as it was defined at that point of time, the literacy ratio was 12% in 1947. Today we are at 76%, slightly higher in terms of the males, around 86%, and in female it is a bit less. More pride we should take in the fact that during the last 75 years, while most of the developed countries themselves have not gone for 100% women franchise in terms of the voting rights, in 1950 itself, our country has given 100% adult franchise, including 100% women. And initially the voting was limited to 21 years. Now, over the constitutional amendment, it has been made up to 18 years. So you take any metric, whether it is the economic metric, or whether it is the health metric, or whether it is the poverty, or whether it is the social metrics, even in terms of infant mortality. The records show that the infant mortality stood at 141 children died on an average for every 1,000 live births at the time of independence. And today that figure we can proudly say is less than 20 out of every 1,000. Similarly, maternal mortality was almost for every 1,000 live births used to be around 20. Today it is less than 0.5. So the health sector has delivered. So we should all be proud when we celebrate this 75 years of Indian independence, of having delivered together. While we all know that still a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of the inequalities, and as many of you must have heard from the Honorable Prime Minister's speech in the morning, inclusive growth is what is required, and that has been the endeavor of this government. It is not only the macroeconomic parameters and the social indicators. Even if you look at the Railways, we know, were reasonably developed by the British to serve their own interests, and in 1947, when we got independence, we were having almost around 56,000 route kilometers of network, and almost most of it was single line with meter gauge. Today we should be proud that we have a running track kilometer of almost 1,10,000 kilometers, and converted majority, almost 90% of the tracks is on broad gauge and electrified. Look at the locomotives. There used to be around 8,000 steam locomotives and hardly any electric and diesel, both combining around 90 at that point of time in 1947. Today we have around 12,000 locomotives, and not only that, the horsepower of the locomotives has multiplied. We have to take from WDM2 to and the various gradations, from the simple 1600 to 2600. Now we have come to 12,000 HP locomotives. The number of wagons used to be around 2 lakh wagons during independence, at the time of independence, and most of it were four-wheelers. And now we have almost around 3 lakh wagons, and all these are eight-wheelers, and the coaches too. And the number of passengers we carried, we should really be proud of this particular statistic. At the time of independence, we carried around 3 million passengers every day, and today we are carrying 22 million passengers every day. That means almost 7 times in the last 75 years. And with almost, the infrastructure obviously has not kept pace with the transportation output. If you look at freight today we are loading almost around 1,250 million tons. That means almost around 1.2 billion tons per year. 1,200 is a better metric to compare with 72 million tons in 1947. So 72 to 1,200 is again around 14 to 15 times in terms of the growth in the last 75 years. So this is a matter of immense pride for us. This is a hallmark, but at the same time, the challenges are very clear. The operating ratio used to be around 81% in 1947, and today it is hovering around the 100 mark. That means for every 100 rupees we earn, we used to spend around 81 rupees in 1947, and today for every 100 rupees we earn, we are spending almost what we earn. So I think this is a matter of concern. And another serious matter is about the market ratio in freight. It used to be around 85% of the total freight carried on the country used to be carried by rail in 1947. Today we are hardly carrying 25% of it. So this is, given the nature of environment friendliness, the cost effectiveness, the transit, and of course the density of population, which doesn't allow us to exponentially grow the rail tracks. We all know that we are one amongst the highest density population in the world. Almost 1.6 billion people are residing in 3.2 million square kilometers of land, which makes us one of the most densest countries in terms of the population. So herein lies the challenge for all of us, and especially in the railway context. As I mentioned, both this operating ratio and the freight market ratio is a challenge for us as we go forward into the next 25 years. I'm sure today we have a lot of youngsters here, just maybe around 22 to 25 years of age, or even up to the 30s. I'm sure you will all see the 100th year of independence. Many of us may not be there by the time, but I'm sure that with the technology which is on offer now, you will be able to deliver multifold. Because as you mentioned, as the Honorable Prime Minister mentioned in the morning speech, things are changing dramatically. Technology, which used to change very slowly and used to have a lot of inertia, has almost overtaken us. I mean, if you look at the mobile subscribers, it is in your hand, almost everything. And today we are actually monitoring, and we are going to inaugurate one small app wherein we are monitoring all the 37 pantry cars of our division online. It is all in the mobile, and mobile has become a device where, again, as a matter of pride for all of Indians, we have one of the most highest, you can say, mobile penetration ratio in the world, against a population of, as I mentioned, around 1.53 billion or 1500 million. 849 mobile subscribers are there. So that means if you take away the infants in the age of, I mean, you can see the penetration. It is very, very high. And this technology is going to overtake us, and it is already overtaking the railway. So agility, flexibility, and adaptation to the rapid changes in the technology is what is expected of all of us. I mean, so that is going to be the agenda. And simply put, as you know, railway has been taking tremendous strides in the last decade. As I keep mentioning, again at the cost of repetition, while the capital expenditure for the railway used to be around 40,000 crore per year, in the last decade, especially from 2009 to 2014 and 2014 up to 2014 to 2019 and 2019 up to now, the last 7-8 years, compared to a capital expenditure of 40,000 crore per annum in the period 2009 to 14, the capital expenditure has gone to an average of 1 lakh crore per year. So that means a lot of capital is being infused. Project and project management is of essence. And that is the reason why the Gati Shakti units have been created recently by the Railway Board, and they will sweep, I am telling you, they will sweep the existing departmentalism. We will decide in the Gati Shakti unit who has to work where, in the context of delivery of the project. There is no department, no civil engineering, no electrical, no SNT, no TRD separate. It is the project unit which will work. And it is in this spirit that we intend to lead the way as far as project management is concerned, which was one of the biggest concerns for us, even in the Niti Aayog report, when it came out with the report of India at 75 in December 2019, wherein it mentioned that the rate of construction, which is around 3 kilometers per day, should go up to 18 kilometers per day if we want to achieve the national targets. And the national targets for the railways, like all the other 41 sectors which have been defined, our sector targets have been defined taking into account the overall economic, social, technological, political and environmental goals of the country. Inclusive growth is an overarching theme, but to make the GDP grow from $3 trillion to $5 trillion, railways has been given the following targets. To make your overall freight grow from 1,200 million tons to 3,000 million tons by 2030, to take your market share from 24% to 50%, zero accidents, because technology is prevalent. There is nothing that that can happen, because if you follow the systems, the rate of construction, as I mentioned, should go from this 3 to 3.5 meager kilometers per day to 18 kilometers per day, and that is why these units of Gati Shakti have been created. So, and of course 100% punctuality. So with these in mind, we need to work in the coming days, months, years, and of course a lot of decades for the youngsters. Adaptation of technology, you need not wait. There has been an innovation policy which has come out with the government recently. You should leverage on that, because apparently it takes a lot of time to get a particular standardized policy come from above, especially when it is a technological innovation. It takes a lot of time to trickle down. So that is the reason why this innovation policy has been given to all of us. And we need to leverage on these policies of the government and leapfrog not only our division, but also the entire Indian Railway in the coming days. The role of all of us is the same. Each one is just playing out a role. There is no hierarchy in this, because each one of us is mandated and duty bound to play our roles. There is an equal role of a motorman as an equal role of a civil engineer and an equal role for an ADRM or a DRM. Each one has to play his role to perfection. And that is the expectation of the government of the day, and I'm sure we will deliver to the best. At the same time, coming to our own division, we've just given us a brief overview of where we stand in the last 75 years as a nation, as a railway, and expectations from Mumbai division in specific. As you all know that within a year, we will be having around 100 Vande Bharats which will be rolled out in the country. And the next Vande Bharat which is coming to us may be commissioned somewhere in September. And it will be running between Mumbai to Ahmedabad. And it has to be a top-class service, because we need to maintain it. We need to, when I say maintenance, it is not just safety maintenance. It is also about all the dimensions of value which the customer or the passenger expects. That is, it includes punctuality, it includes all the passenger amenities on board at the stations, it includes pre-arrival and post-departure infrastructure, pre-departure and post-arrival infrastructure, safety, as well as timeliness. So all these parameters together is what have to be seen, and this train has to be made a pride. And I'm sure with the tremendous amount of brain power, the knowledge, the expertise, and the attitude of Mumbai, which is renowned for being apart from other divisions, and of course the tremendous support which we receive from the trade unions, the AOBC and the SC/ST associations is in no small measure. We will all work together as a team and ensure that the expectations are met. Station development is another major theme of this government, and we have a very high number of stations which we need to take care of. It is Surat, Udna, Navsari. In suburban stations we have around 3 or 4 which have not progressed at all. So this is another area where we need to ensure that we deliver on the expectations. I mean, timelines of a station being redeveloped in 7 or 8 years is not acceptable. It's in months, if not days. So that is what we are looking at, the rapid pace of infrastructure creation that requires facilitation of all the departments and the primacy of the Gati Shakti unit which is being created in the divisions. At the same time, I would also like to congratulate all of you for the performance in the last 1 year. I think we have done reasonably well. Our freight growth has again, I mean, as you know, in 2019-20, we have had an 84% freight earnings growth, and 2021 another 80% freight earning growth, and this year we are more than last year. So I think we should all be proud of what we are doing, but still there is a lot of scope in terms of market research and in terms of getting the traffic onto the rails and pursuing with the railway board, and there is no, again I'm saying that there is no hierarchy in getting what we want. I mean, if we feel that somewhere the blockage is there, escalate, escalate and escalate. If Senior DCM or Senior DOM is not able to solve it at his level, escalate to the COM. In COM you feel, then DRM, COM, then if not GM. If not GM, then we'll go direct up to the top, because we cannot wait. So that escalation is of essence. Just don't and let this freedom come out of you on this day. I think just be free to escalate it to whatever extent you want, so that you actually get what is needed for the railway. On the suburban, I think on the passenger earnings, it's also heartening to note that we have reached the pre-COVID levels of earnings, and even today's figure shows that we have crossed the 2019-20 or even the pre-COVID figures by around 5%, which is a heartening growth. The AC locals, the Mumbaikars have taken to AC locals like none another. There was a lot of apprehension from all of us that when we introduce local trains, then there will be agitations all over, and but that proved to be a myth. It was actually a total bogey, which probably we could have started it much earlier, maybe 3 or 4 years earlier. But there are teething problems in this AC locals, especially from the TRS, EMU, car shed need to be alert in terms of addressing them. There are issues regarding door closures. There are issues in terms of earth falls appearing randomly. There are issues of temperatures not being maintained properly. Even a single occasion could, with the social media that what it is today, can cause a lot of damage to the image of the railway. So here, I mean, we should go even above that Six Sigma level. You cannot have any benchmark which is lower than that. You need to work towards ensuring that these services are nurtured, because over a period of time, these percentages, now we are hardly inducing 5 rakes into the circuit. The 6th rake will be induced next month into the service. So that will make the total number of services almost 66. And we will gradually keep on ramping up these AC locals, but unless we deliver on the service levels, there would be a lot of complaints. So this we need to be wary about. And of course, on the parcel earnings, we are doing very well. I congratulate the commercial team especially for doing it extremely well. And on the textiles, and one innovation which we have done, which we all should take pride, especially in terms of learning very fast and then implementing it on the ground within a period of 3 weeks, was something on this joint postal product at Surat. I mean, we absolutely had no idea as to how to go about it on day number 1, on the 8th of March, when the ministry has given us the mandate to load closed boxes in parcel vans. So that is the mandate, closed boxes in parcel vans with the postal department. So day number 1, the teams have gone into the airports to study the models, and they have come out with, especially the commercial inspectorial team. I mean, you have such a wonderful team that even before we ourselves officers could get into the airport and study, they have already made a wonderful study. And I remember on 10th or 11th of March at Surat, by the time we arrived there, they were ready with those presentations as to how to go about it, which absolutely reflected as the way we wanted to go about it. So such is the caliber of the people whom we have. And we implemented something called a ball transfer unit, which probably we never heard in our railway parlance earlier, scissors lifts. We heard about, we got about this conveyor belt systems, which we heard but never used them in our open line. And of course, we came with all these forklifters and trolleys to be modified, and all this was done in 21 days. And I can't find in my career, I mean, a better team effort in such a short focused time. And of course, civil engineering has done a tremendous work at Surat. They have transformed a dilapidated, old, unused shed for the last 1 decade. And I should also congratulate Prashant and his team for being so generous in offering their union room for me. But it is sad to hear that still that union room has not been replaced. You have to get that done. And it was now become something of a case study. I mean, reflecting back, we ourselves are at doubt as to how we have done it. So whether it is Padam or whether it is CM Singh or whether it is, where is Mishra the star, or our senior CDO BDTS. I mean, sometimes I feel that even before I can talk, the thing is already there from him. I mean, he's so proactive in whatever he does. And of course, Sanap, who has guided all of us, and the senior and DCM Avinash was also instrumental in that. So that has become a real good success story for us in terms of how teamwork can deliver wonders. Something which we never knew. We came out with that. So I'm sure that it is this spirit we will take it forward. This innovation, spirit of innovation, and treading the unknown path is what is required for us. And I'm sure in the coming days and months, we will leverage on each one of our own strengths to take this beautiful organization still forward. And I once again wish you on this Independence Day. I mean, it's really inspiring to be a part of a country which probably none of us were born. I mean, at least the serving officers, I mean, none of us were born. We never knew as to what it was to be in a chained country when you have to think twice before you talk. So I think we should be really proud, and I would like to just end this by congratulating all of you on being born in this era, especially these youngsters who are coming in here to serve the railways from different parts of the country. This is your decade. I mean, as you mentioned today, the Honorable Prime Minister has said this is a decade. It is not only a decade, it is a decade. So that is the word he used, decade. So this is a decade, and the tech is changing every hour as we sit here. And leverage on that. If you do not leverage, we are lost. You are lost. Personally, you are lost. So no one knows this. So we all have to learn. We all have to learn. First, for that, we have to unlearn that we have learned everything. I think that is the most important thing. And we are going ahead with some substantial trainings here. And starting from 18th, we are having a training on Python with machine learning and data science for the IT team. And to streamline systems within the depots, from 23rd, we are starting a Six Sigma program, which with the intention to streamline systems and get in principles of total quality management into the working of the railways. It will be a very focused and an organized system wherein 15 of our supervisors across different departments whom we will handpick and whom we think will have a long-term stake and also act as train the trainers. Initially, we are starting off with a green belt program, which is a general introductory program to Six Sigma, followed with immediately the black belt program, which is a higher level one, and that is going to be rigorous in terms of the deliverables. And once we do that, I think we'll see as to whether we can graduate that to the master belt program as well. So we need to take these programs. These are very immediate programs. The other things we have is to develop skills in IoT. I mean, there is nothing left, whether it is a civil engineer or an electrical engineer or whether it is an S&T engineer. None of us, we have to start working with these. I mean, these are sensors which actually pick up the data and then get into a remote server, and then after that you do some calculations, algorithms, threshold, monitoring mechanisms. So these are IoT, machine learning, these are things which are commonplace, and I'm sure that all of you, your children, would be playing with this IoT, machine learning things within a few days, and you will be lost. And it is not the question of you being lost. This organization cannot lose. So, I mean, we need to equip ourselves, whether it is a 59-year-old who's about to retire from the railway tomorrow, or whether it is a person who has just joined at the age of maybe 23, 24, or even 30, 35, or whatever the railways. We have to pick up these new age skills. I mean, whether it is a doctor, or whether it is an engineer, or whether it is a finance person, or whether it is a personnel person, or whether it's a stores person, leveraging in technology is the way forward. And the more sooner we unlearn what we learned and to relearn the new age, the better for us. So I have already started looking at a total fresh beginning, and I'm sure that all of us will be a part of this wonderful journey. Thank you very much.
Sir,
करने की अनुमति प्रदान करें।
मैं डीआरएम सर से आग्रह करूंगा कि कृपया वे अपना स्थान ग्रहण करेंगे। डीआरएम सर। चलो फिर से आज वह नजारा याद कर लें। चलो फिर से आज वह नजारा याद कर लें। शहीदों के दिल में थी वो ज्वाला याद कर लें, जिसमें बहकर आजादी पहुंची थी किनारे पर। जिसमें बहकर आजादी पहुंची थी किनारे पर, देशभक्तों के खून की वो धारा याद कर लें। दोस्तों, इस स्वतंत्रता दिवस के प्रोग्राम पर मैं सबसे पहले आरएसएस बलसाड़ स्कूल को आमंत्रित करूंगा कि वे यहां पर आएं और नृत्य नाटिका प्रस्तुत करें।
ये कहानी है भारत के स्वातंत्र की। हमारा पहला क्रांतिवीर
मंगल पांडे सर, सिपाही कंपनी नंबर 5, रेजिमेंट 34।
मंगल 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 हो, मंगल 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 हो। जागे नगर सारे जागे हैं, घर सारे जागा है अब आज कहाँ। जागी है बगिया तो जागे हैं पेड़ और जागी है पेड़ों की छाँव। मंगल 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 हो, मंगल 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 हो।
सर सुना है नई राइफल आई है नए कारतूस के साथ। इसे लोड करने से पहले दांत से काटना पड़ता है। सर इस कारतूस पे जो ग्रीस लगा है वो गाय और सुअर की चर्बी से बना है। गाय हिंदुओं के लिए पवित्र है सर, और सुअर मुसलमानों के लिए हराम। इसे हम छू भी नहीं सकते सर, हमारा धर्म भ्रष्ट हो जाएगा।
चमक उठी सन 57 में वो तलवार पुरानी थी, बुंदेले हर बूढ़ों के मुंह। हमने सुनी कहानी थी, खूब लड़ी मर्दानी, वो तो झांसी वाली रानी थी।
हर हर महादेव, अल्लाहू अकबर। भाग भाग रे भाग फिरंगी, भाग भाग रे भाग, भाग भाग रे भाग फिरंगी, भाग भाग रे भाग, भाग भाग रे भाग फिरंगी। झांसी की रानी आई है, भाल तिलक और हाथ खड़क, दुर्गा है काली माई है। भाग रे भाग फिरंगी, भाग भाग रे भाग। अश्व चढ़ी प्रचंड विकट ये मनु है, लक्ष्मी बाई है। शोले बरसेंगे अब तुझ पर, तेरी शामत आई है। चपल नयन की धार तो देखो, मुझ पर भारी भार तो देखो, तेरे शीश को लेने आई झांसी की रानी आई।
1928 भगत सिंह।
साइमन गो बैक, साइमन वापस जाओ, साइमन गो बैक, साइमन वापस जाओ, साइमन गो बैक, साइमन वापस जाओ, साइमन गो बैक, साइमन वापस जाओ।
देश मेरे मेरी जान है तू, देश मेरे मेरी जान है तू, देश मेरे मेरी शान है तू, देश मेरे मेरी शान है तू।
मिटाने से नहीं मिटते, डराने से नहीं डरते, वतन के नाम पे वतन के नाम पे हम सर कटाने से नहीं डरते।
इनकलाब जिंदाबाद, इनकलाब जिंदाबाद।
सरफरोशी की तमन्ना,
सरफरोशी की तमन्ना अब हमारे दिल में,
अब हमारे दिल में है। देखना है जोर कितना बाजुए
इनकलाब जिंदाबाद।
रघुपति राघव राजा राम, पतित पावन सीताराम।
आजादी आजादी के नारे, नहीं चाहिए हमें ऐसी आजादी।
हे राम,
यही कीमत चुकानी पड़ी अपने देश को आजादी दिलाने की।
कंधों से मिलते हैं कंधे, कदमों से कदम मिलते हैं, हम चलते हैं जब ऐसे तो दिल दुश्मन के हिलते हैं। कंधों से मिलते हैं कंधे, कदमों से कदम मिलते हैं, हम चलते हैं जब ऐसे तो दिल दुश्मन के हिलते हैं।
अब तो हमें आगे बढ़ते हैं रहना, अब तो हमें साथी है बस इतना ही कहना।
अब तो हमें आगे बढ़ते हैं रहना, अब तो हमें साथी है बस इतना ही कहना।
अब जो भी हो शोला बन के पत्थर है पिघलाना, अब जो भी हो बादल बन के पर्वत पर है छाना।
कंधों से मिलते हैं कंधे, कदमों से कदम मिलते हैं, हम चलते हैं जब ऐसे तो दिल दुश्मन के हिलते हैं। कंधों से मिलते हैं कंधे, कदमों से कदम मिलते हैं, हम चलते हैं जब ऐसे तो दिल दुश्मन के हिलते हैं।
बड़े देश में भी हम सब ने अपना एक छोटा सा कोना पकड़ा हुआ है। ये तेरा, ये मेरा, इस चक्कर में ढेरों बाउंड्रीज बनाई हुई है। इंडिया आजाद हो गया है, हम भी खुद के इन बॉर्डर्स से एक बार फ्री होके देख लेते हैं।
तू दिल है मेरा, तू जान है मेरी, तू देश मेरा, तू माँ है मेरी।
वाह वाह, बहुत ही बेहतरीन प्रदर्शन आप सभी का। मैं भारतवर्ष का हरदम अमिट सम्मान करता हूं। मैं भारतवर्ष का हरदम अमिट सम्मान करता हूं। यहाँ की सुनहरी मिट्टी का गुणगान करता हूं। मुझे चिंता नहीं है, मुझे चिंता नहीं है स्वर्ग जाके मोक्ष पाने की। मुझे चिंता नहीं है स्वर्ग जाके मोक्ष पाने की। तिरंगा हो कफन मेरा, बस यही अरमान करता हूं। दोस्तों, बहुत ही भावुक क्षण था जिस समय इन्होंने नाटक प्रस्तुति की थी। अब मैं स्काउट गाइड के बच्चों को नृत्य नाटिका प्रस्तुत करने के लिए आमंत्रित करूंगा। स्काउट गाइड के बच्चे।
सदते मैं जावा मेरी दिल जानिया, मैं शीश झुकावा मेरी दिल जानिया, तेरे नाम जो कर जावा कम है वो। तू सारे जहां से प्यारी मेरे भारत की बेटी है, सारे जहां पे भारी मेरे भारत की बेटी। दिल जान है शान हमारी मेरे भारत की बेटी। जीती रहो, जीतती रहो। जो तेरे नैनों से टपके हर आंसू है अपना, जो तेरे होठों पे ठहरे वो गीत अब अपना। जो सीना तान के तू चल दे उठता है सर अपना, जा जी ले अपनी जिंदड़ी, सर पर हाथ है अपना। तेरा जो भी है सपना अब जिम्मा है अपना, सपने सच करने की तेरी बारी। तू सारे जहां से प्यारी मेरे भारत की बेटी है, सारे जहां पे भारी मेरे भारत की बेटी। दिल जान है शान हमारी मेरे भारत की बेटी। जीती रहो, जीतती रहो। जैसा कोई नहीं है, ऐसी नहीं 100 दिन दुनिया घुमा है, नहीं कहीं तेरे जैसा कोई नहीं। मैं गाया जहां भी बस तेरी याद, जो मेरे साथ तुझको तड़पा दिल लाती, सबसे प्यारी तेरी सूरत, प्यार है बस तेरा प्यार ही। माँ तुझे सलाम, माँ तुझे सलाम, मम्मा तुझे सलाम। वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम। ना छुड़ाऊं तेरे प्यार का तराना मैं, जिंदा नहीं सूरज नहीं दुनिया की दौलत में, कसम दूंगा तेरे प्यार का खजाना। एक नजर चाहते होती है प्यार, दुनिया तख्तों में चमके चमके महके रे, तेरा चेहरा सूरज जैसा, चांद सी ठंड है प्यार में।
वंदे मातरम। वाह, बहुत ही बेहतरीन नृत्य नाटिका। हम आजाद हैं, हम आजाद हैं, ये आजादी कभी छीनने नहीं देंगे। हम आजाद हैं, ये आजादी कभी छीनने नहीं देंगे। तिरंगे की शान को हम कभी मिटने नहीं देंगे। कोई आंख भी उठाएगा हिंदुस्तान की तरफ, कोई आंख भी उठाएगा हिंदुस्तान की तरफ, उन आंखों को फिर दुनिया देखने नहीं देंगे, दुनिया देखने नहीं देंगे। दोस्तों, अब मैं सांस्कृतिक समूह द्वारा एक देशभक्ति गीत प्रस्तुत करेंगे, तो मैं सांस्कृतिक टीम को यहां बुलाना चाहूंगा कि वे देशभक्ति का गीत प्रस्तुत करें।
हेलो 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 चेक हेलो।
हेलो हेलो हेलो।
ओ देश मेरे तेरी शान पे सदके कोई धन है क्या तेरी धूल से बढ़ के, तेरी धूप से रोशन, तेरी हवा पे जिंदा। तू बाग है मेरा, मैं तेरा परिंदा। है अर्ज ये दीवाने की जहाँ भोर सुहानी देखी, एक रोज वही मेरी शाम हो। कभी याद करे जो जमाना, माटी पे मर मिट जाना, जिक्र में शामिल मेरा नाम हो। ओ देश मेरे तेरी शान पे सदके कोई धन है क्या तेरी धूल से बढ़ के, तेरी धूप से रोशन, तेरी हवा पे जिंदा। तू बाग है मेरा, मैं तेरा परिंदा। तेरा रहे माँ रंग बिरंगा हो, ऊंचा आसमां से हो तेरा तिरंगा। जीने की इजाजत दे दे या हुक्म शहादत दे दे, मंजूर हमें जो भी तू चुने। रेशम का हो दुशाला या कफन सिपाही वाला, ओढ़ेंगे हम जो भी तू बोले। ओ देश मेरे तेरी शान पे सदके कोई धन है क्या तेरी धूल से बढ़ के, तेरी धूप से रोशन, तेरी हवा पे जिंदा। तू बाग है मेरा, मैं तेरा परिंदा।
थैंक यू।
छोड़ो कल की बातें, कल की बात पुरानी, नए दौर में लिखेंगे मिलकर नई कहानी। हम हिंदुस्तानी, हम हिंदुस्तानी, हम हिंदुस्तानी, हम हिंदुस्तानी। आज पुरानी जंजीरों को तोड़ चुके हैं, क्या देखे उस मंजिल को जो छोड़ चुके हैं। चांद के दर पर जा पहुंचा है आज जमाना, नए जगत से हम भी नाता जोड़ चुके हैं। नया खून है, नई उमंगे, अब है नई जवानी। हम हिंदुस्तानी, आओ मेहनत को अपना ईमान बनाए, अपने हाथों से अपना भगवान बनाए। राम की इस धरती को, गौतम की भूमि को, सपनों से भी प्यारा हिंदुस्तान बनाए। नया खून है, नई उमंगे, अब है नई जवानी। हम हिंदुस्तानी, हर जर्रा है मोती, आंख उठा कर देखो, माटी में सोना है, हाथ बढ़ा कर देखो। सोने की ये गंगा है, चांदी की यमुना, चाहो तो पत्थर पे धान उगा कर देखो। नया खून है, नई उमंगे, अब है नई जवानी। हम हिंदुस्तानी, Thank you.
वतन मेरे आबाद रहे तू, मैं जहाँ रहूँ हेलो
हेलो चेक।
संदेशे आते हैं हमें तड़पाते हैं, वो चिट्ठी आती है वो पूछे जाती है कि घर कब आओगे, कि घर कब आओगे, लिखो कब आओगे, कि तुम बिन ये घर सोना सोना है। किसी की सांसों ने, किसी की धड़कन में, किसी की चूड़ी में, किसी के कंगन में,
किसी के कचरी में, किसी के कचरी में, महकती सुबह मचलती शाम,
अकेली रातों में, अधूरी बातों में, तरसती बाहों में,
और पूछा है तरसती बाहों कि घर कब आओगे, कि घर कब आओगे, लिखो कब आओगे,
कि तुम बिन ये दिल सोना सोना है।
संदेशे आते हैं हमें तड़पाते हैं, वो चिट्ठी आती
पूछा है गाँव की गलियों ने कि घर कब आओगे, कि घर कब आओगे, दिखो कब आओगे,
कि तुम बिन ही गाँव सोना सोना है।
संदेशे आते हैं, हमें तड़पाते हैं, वो चिट्ठी आती है, वो पूछे जाती है,
कि घर कब आओगे, कि घर कब आओगे, दिखो कब आओगे,
कि तुम बिन ही सोना सोना है। एक सनमी वाली हवा बता, मेरा इतना काम करेगी क्या, मेरे गाँव जा, मेरे दोस्त को सलाम दे।
मेरे गाँव में है जो वो गली जहाँ रहती है मेरी दिलरुबा, उसे मेरे प्यार का जवाब दे, उसे मेरे प्यार का जवाब दे।
वही थोड़ी दूर है घर मेरा, मेरे घर में है मेरी बूढ़ी माँ, मेरी माँ के पैर को छूती तो उसे उसके बेटे का नाम दे।
ऐ गुजरने वाली हवा जरा मेरे दोस्त को मेरी दिलरुबा, मेरी माँ को मेरा प्यार दे, उन्हें जाके तू ये प्यार दे।
मैं वापस आऊंगा, मैं वापस आऊंगा,
फिर अपने गाँव में किसी की छाँव में,
कि माँ की आँचल से, गाँव की पीपल से, किसी की काजल से,
या जो वादा था वो निभाओ।
मैं एक दिन आऊंगा, मैं एक दिन आऊंगा, मैं एक दिन आऊंगा, मैं एक दिन आऊंगा, मैं एक दिन आऊंगा। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू।
अति उत्तम, अति उत्तम। जब आंख उसको हेलो जब आंख खुले तो धरती हिंदुस्तान की हो, जब आंख खुले तो धरती हिंदुस्तान की हो, जब आंख बंद हो तो यादें हिंदुस्तान की हो। हम मर भी जाएं तो कोई गम नहीं, हम मर भी जाएं तो कोई गम नहीं, मरते वक्त मिट्टी हिंदुस्तान की हो, मिट्टी हिंदुस्तान की हो। मैं पुनः सांस्कृतिक टीम को निमंत्रित करूंगा कि वे स्किट प्रोग्राम लेके आए। स्किट
हेलो
हेलो हेलो चेक
हेलो
हेलो हेलो चेक हेलो चेक
हेलो
हेलो हेलो माइक चेक हेलो तुझं
माइक चेक नहीं आ रहा है आवाज आ रहा है
तुला शोधते
हेलो चेक कौन है हेलो हेलो हेलो
नजदीक जाओ
हेलो
थोड़ा
दे
हेलो
हेलो ओके हेलो हेलो
हेलो हेलो चेक
हेलो
हेलो हेलो इकडे करा
हेलो हेलो चेक
हेलो एक मिनट हेलो
सुनो गौर से दुनिया वालों, बुरी नजर ना हम पे डालो। सुनो गौर से दुनिया वालों, बुरी नजर ना हम पे डालो। चाहे जितना जोर लगा लो, सबसे आगे होंगे हिंदुस्तानी। सुनो गौर से दुनिया वालों, बुरी नजर ना हम पे डालो। चाहे जितना जोर लगा लो, सबसे आगे होंगे हिंदुस्तानी। हमने कहा है, हमने कहा है जो तुम भी कहो।
आओ हम मिलजुल के बोले अब तो यारा, अपना जहां है सबसे प्यारा। आओ हम मिलजुल के बोले अब तो यारा, अपना जहां है सबसे प्यारा।
हमने कहा है जो तुम भी कहो।
वाह 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 वाह, थोड़ा अजीब था लेकिन तुम्हारा डांस मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा। थैंक यू अंकल, थैंक यू।
वैसे किस खुशी में तुम ये अजीबोगरीब डांस कर रहे थे?
Yeah, and that's why we all are celebrating.
अरे रुको रुको रुको, नहीं हमें ये तो पता है कि आज अपना स्वतंत्रता दिवस है, लेकिन आजादी के इस 75वें पावन वर्ष पर स्वतंत्रता दिवस सेलिब्रेट करना मतलब ऊंचे ऊंचे स्वर पर गाने लगाना, उस पे ये रोम्बा सोम्बा डांस करना, ये हमें पता नहीं था। स्वतंत्रता दिवस के पहले दोस्तों को व्हाट्सएप पे मैसेज भेजना, उस मैसेज पे लिखा होता है कि कल ड्राई डे है, फ्रिज में स्टॉक भर के रखो, और ऐसे गंदे जोक पर हंसना, ये सेलिब्रेशन हमें पता नहीं है।
आज के दिन पिकनिक प्लान करना, बाइक पर झंडा लगाकर दिन भर मौज मस्ती करना, सेलिब्रेशन का ये अर्थ तो हमें बिल्कुल पता नहीं था।
Sorry आंटी, सॉरी अंकल,
सॉरी। अरे ठीक है ठीक है, क्या है, अभी तुम लोग जवान हो, जोशीले हो, बताना जरूरी था। देखो, स्वतंत्रता दिवस मतलब सेलिब्रेशन करना ये नहीं होता है, तो फिर
बल्कि आज के दिन जिन्होंने अपना बलिदान दिया, स्वतंत्रता संग्राम में अपना योगदान दिया, उन लोगों को याद करना।
मेरे वतन के लोगों, जरा आँख में भर लो पानी, जो शहीद हुए हैं उनकी जरा याद करो।
हमारी आंखें खोल दी।
अंकल हमें भी बताइए ना अपनी आजादी के बारे में। अरे बच्चों, अब ये तुम बड़े बड़े टावर देख रहे हो, ये बड़े बड़े ब्रिज, डैम, अभी तुम तो मोबाइल भी यूज कर रहे हो, लैपटॉप है, एसी लोकल में घूम रहे हो, मेट्रो वगैरह। हमारे समय कुछ भी नहीं था।
सही कहा बच्चों, तुम लोग बहुत लकी हो। तुम्हारे पास वो व्हाट्सएप है, वो फेसबुक, इंस्टाग्राम है, उस पे मैसेज भेज के तुम किसी के साथ भी कनेक्ट हो सकते हो। लेकिन हमारे वक्त बहुत परेशानी थी। तुमको एक बात मजे की बताऊं? जब मेरा राजू हुआ था ना, तब मैंने इनको चिट्ठी लिखी थी और वो चिट्ठी इनको 8 दिन के बाद मिली। अच्छा, वापसी में इनका रिप्लाई कई दिनों बाद मिला।
मिश्रा अंकल नहीं है, मिश्रा अंकल ही है। उनका ना आने जाने का टाइम फिक्स नहीं रहता है, कभी भी आते जाते हैं।
अरे पागल, वो रेलवे में काम करते हैं, नाइट ड्यूटी करके आ रहे होंगे।
अरे मिश्रा जी, कैसे हैं आप?
मैं ठीक हूँ।
अरे बच्चों, हमें तो मिश्रा जी के ऊपर गर्व होना चाहिए। उनके जैसे हजारों कर्मचारी अत्यावश्यक सेवा क्षेत्र में काम करते हैं।
दरअसल यही हमारे देश के असली हीरो है। मिश्रा जी, आज बच्चों को हमसे पुरानी बातें सुननी है।
पुरानी बातें?
हाँ।
तो मैं इनसे एक रेलवे वाला सवाल पूछूं?
पूछो।
जीके वाला।
पूछिए पूछिए, जरूर पूछिए।
ये बताओ, पहली रेलगाड़ी अपने देश में कहां से कहां तक चली? नो चीटिंग, नो गूगल। याद नहीं आ रहा? मैं बता देता हूँ। पहली रेलगाड़ी अपने देश में बोरी बंदर से थाना तक चली।
ये तो मेरे को मालूम था।
ए चल चल, कुछ भी फेंक रहे तू, चल।
ये मालूम था? तो अब ये बताओ कि कब चली थी? हो गया डब्बा गुल? डब्बा गुल हो गया? पहली रेलगाड़ी 16 अप्रैल 1853 को चली थी।
ये नहीं मालूम था।
उस समय की रेलवे और अभी की रेलवे में जमीन आसमान का फर्क है। आजादी के 75 सालों में हमने बहुत प्रगति की है। कहने का मतलब ये है कि अगर रेलवे को ही देश की प्रगति का प्रतीक माने तो पता चलेगा देश कहां से कहां पहुंच गया है।
सही कहा आपने। जब 1947 में हम आजाद हुए तो अपने पास कुछ भी नहीं था, संसाधनों की कमी थी अपने पास।
लेकिन इन 75 सालों में हम सब ने मिलकर तिनका जोड़कर दिन रात प्रयास किया, और अब देखिए हमारे देश की प्रगति।
पिछले तकरीबन 30-40 सालों में देश को डिफेंस, टेक्नोलॉजी और ऐसे कई विषयों के लिए विदेशों पर निर्भर रहना पड़ता था, मगर आज देख लो 13 लाख सक्रिय सैनिक भारतीय सेना के हैं और हमारी सेना देश में चौथे नंबर की मानी जाती है।
अंकल मैंने भी नेट पे पढ़ा है, अपना भारत का फाइटर प्लेन तेजस और ब्रह्मोस मिसाइल है ना, ये पूरी दुनिया में इसकी डिमांड है।
बच्चे तुम बहुत स्मार्ट हो।
अरे आंटी, इसमें स्मार्ट क्या है? मैंने भी नेट में पढ़ा है। अपना एटॉमिक पावर, अपना इंडिया है ना, वर्ल्ड में 3rd मोस्ट पावरफुल कंट्री है।
अरे तुम लोग को ये पता है क्या, आईटी इंडस्ट्री में तो इंडिया वर्ल्ड में बेस्ट है, बेस्ट। और लैंग्वेजेस में तो हम बहुत ही प्रॉस्परस हैं। इंडिया में 22 से ज्यादा लैंग्वेजेस बोली जाती हैं।
22? देखा, और तुम इस यंग जनरेशन को कोसती रहती हो, ये दिन रात मोबाइल में लगे रहते हैं। अरे ये लोग मोबाइल का अच्छा इस्तेमाल भी करना जानते हैं।
हाँ बाबा हाँ, मैंने अब मान लिया कि स्मार्टफोन की तरह ये बच्चे भी बड़े स्मार्ट है।
जैसे अपना इंडिया।
देखो, अब इंडिया भी सब दुनिया ने मान लिया सुपर पावर है।
आज बड़े बड़े देशों में जो मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज के ओनर्स है ना, और वहाँ के जो मुख्य अधिकारी है वो इंडियन ओरिजिन के हैं।
और इस बात पर हमें गर्व होना चाहिए। देखो, आज अपना देश सभी क्षेत्र में अग्रसर है, लेकिन उसको इस मुकाम तक पहुंचाने के लिए काफी लोगों ने मेहनत की, योगदान दिया है, अपना बलिदान दिया है।
तो फिर चलिए आज उन शहीदों के लिए जिन्होंने हमें आजादी दिलाई और उन लोगों के लिए जिन्होंने अपने देश को इस मुकाम पे पहुंचाया है। वंदन करके फिर एक बार आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव मनाते हैं।
ये दुनिया एक दुल्हन, ये दुनिया एक दुल्हन, दुल्हन के माथे की बिंदिया। ये मेरा इंडिया, आई लव माय इंडिया। ये मेरा इंडिया, आई लव माय इंडिया। वतन मेरा इंडिया, सजन मेरा इंडिया, करम मेरा इंडिया, धर्म मेरा इंडिया।
तो यह थी पश्चिम रेलवे सांस्कृतिक मंच की प्रस्तुति। उम्मीद है कि आपको ये प्रस्तुति पसंद आई हो। धन्यवाद।
वाह, क्या बात है, बहुत ही बेहतरीन मंचन था आपका। गूंज रहा है दुनिया में भारत का नगाड़ा, गूंज रहा है दुनिया में भारत का नगाड़ा। चमक रहा है आसमान में देश का सितारा, चमक रहा है आसमान में देश का सितारा। आजादी के दिन आओ मिलकर करे दुआ, आजादी के दिन आओ मिलकर करे दुआ कि बुलंदी पर लहराता रहे तिरंगा हमारा, बुलंदी पर लहराता रहे तिरंगा हमारा। थैंक यू। अब मैं बलसाड़ रेलवे स्कूल के बच्चों को यहाँ पे बुलाना चाहूंगा। उससे पहले मैं मंडल रेल प्रबंधक जी से आग्रह करूंगा कि कृपया वे यहाँ पर आए और बच्चों को मेडल प्रदान करें। बच्चों का उत्साहवर्धन करें तालियां बजा के। कर्मचारियों ने 75 वर्ष की आयु पूर्ण कर ली है। उन्हें 75 वर्ष के अमृत महोत्सव में पुरस्कार की घोषणा की गई है। तो सबसे पहले मैं आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव मेडलियन और एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी अचीवमेंट के लिए श्री अलेक्स सिल्वेरिया मोटरमैन MMCT को निवेदन करूँ कि वे यहाँ पर आएं और अपना पुरस्कार ग्रहण करें। उनको
मजहब नहीं इल्जाम है, हम जिएंगे और मरेंगे ऐ वतन तेरे लिए। दिल दिया है जान भी देंगे ऐ वतन तेरे लिए। दिल दिया है जान भी देंगे ऐ वतन तेरे लिए।
धन्यवाद सर। मैं श्री अलेक्स सिल्वेरा मोटरमैन MMCT जी का आग्रह करूंगा कि वे आए और अपना पुरस्कार ग्रहण करें। उन्होंने इंटरनेशनल एथलेटिक्स को रिप्रेजेंट किया, इंडिया को रिप्रेजेंट किया उन्होंने इस गेम में। इंडो पाक एथलेटिक मीट 1956 और 1961 को उन्होंने उनका नेतृत्व किया था। एशियन गेम 1956 रिले रेस मल्टीप्लार 400, कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स 1958 रिले रेस 400, ओलंपिक गेम इन 1956 एट मेलबोर्न एंड 1960 एट रोम। इसके साथ साथ एक बहुत ही बेहतरीन उन्होंने काम किया था। इन्होंने 100 मीटर केवल 100 मीटर की दूरी केवल 10.8 सेकंड में पूर्ण किया था, जिसका रिकॉर्ड आज तक कोई नहीं तोड़ पाया है। जोरदार तालियां होनी चाहिए इसके लिए। Ladies and gentlemen, DRM, fellow officers, I was in the railway as a motorman. I served for 40 years. 20 young years, I was representing India passenger rail. 18 years, I was the coach of the vessel. I did my calculus. Writing giants by motormen. That was rightly given to me. And whatever I achieved, I must thank our officers for giving me the liberty of time off for training. If it not for them and my colleagues who looked after me, I would not be able to do what I did. Thank you, sir. The achievements that I brought, GM, Western Railway, when I was an apprentice motorman, gave me top of the grade. It would take me 13 years to reach the grade. Because of my achievements in sports, they gave me the grade. Thank you, sir. My achievements was solely due to the officers who really looked after me. I was a motorman working 8 hours, but they used to give me concession of working for 3 hours, 5 hours, and 3 hours on the field. Thank you, sir. Thank you very, very much for giving me this honor. After almost 29 years, I have retired from the railways. 29 years, served the railways for 40 years. That was all due to my fellow officer
Without this, I would not be able to do. Thank you, sir.
It's a privilege having you here. I think all of us should give him a standing ovation. Yeah, please.
श्री सतिंदर पाल सिंह वालिया, मोटरमैन MMCT, इनको मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगा पुरस्कार ग्रहण करने के लिए। इन्होंने इंटरनेशनल हॉकी प्लेयर हैं और इन्होंने पार्टिसिपेट किया है ओलंपिक गेम्स 1968, एशियन गेम्स 1968, 1970, represented Western Railway and Indian Railway in hockey, coach of Indian Railway hockey team, coach of Indian women's hockey team। बहुत ही बेहतरीन प्रदर्शन रहा है सर जी का। एक बार जोरदार तालियां होनी चाहिए सर के लिए।
Thank you very much for giving me this honor, sir. I have served the railways for 40 years also as motorman, and I would like to thank all my seniors who gave us so much time off. Like, you know, we were given only day duties, and we could finish at 1:30 in the afternoon and go to the ground when we played. Then we made the Western Railway ladies team, which won the Inter-Railway for a number of years. Same year we made Indian Railways, which after 11 years of Punjab winning, we beat them in 1980 first time. And till today, Railways in ladies women's hockey team is on top. So I was with them for Indian team for about 17 years. And I am also an international grade 1 umpire. I did umpiring in World Cup and Asian Games. So it's a big honor that Railway has thought of us, and we will never forget this because nearly 17 years I have retired now. And I've come all the way from Pune to receive this. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir, 1 minute. We will have here? No, afterwards. When you come. I want 3 foot of us.
Both motormen, we are meeting after 25 years.
Sure. We are meeting
Mr. Kapoor. बुला रहा हूँ Mr. Kapoor. Announce करो Mr. Kapoor.
एक बार जोरदार तालियां होनी चाहिए दोनों बुजुर्गों के लिए जिन्होंने रेल की सेवा की। अब मैं डीआरएम मेडल एंड सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ अप्रिशिएशन के लिए जितेंद्र कपूर CLI MMCT जी को आमंत्रित करूंगा पुरस्कार ग्रहण करने के लिए। इन्होंने अपने पूरे जीवन काल में 17 अवार्ड ले चुके हैं। ही इज आल्सो फ्रॉम मोटरमैन कैटेगरी। तो 17 अवार्ड इन्होंने पहले ही ले लिए हैं, अभी 18वां अवार्ड। जोरदार तालियां होनी चाहिए सर के लिए।
I am very much thankful to the government of India and रेलवे माता, मैं रेलवे को अपनी मां समझता हूँ, और उसके सभी अधिकारीगण और ख़ास करके DRM साहब का, जिन्होंने आज मुझे इस अवार्ड के काबिल समझा है। धन्यवाद।
अब मैं DRM मेडल एंड सर्टिफिकेट के लिए अक्षय कुमार कश्यप ADI को रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि कृपया आए यहां पर और अपना पुरस्कार ग्रहण करें। अक्षय कुमार कश्यप, इन्होंने डेप्यूटेड फॉर इंटरनेशनल ट्रेनिंग एंड कैरेज एंसिलरी इक्विपमेंट अंडर कोलंबो प्लान इन 1992, 3 इंटरनेशनल सर्टिफिकेट इनके नाम पे है, 4 DRM लेवल अवार्ड और 1 CE चर्चगेट अवार्ड सर के नाम पे है, तो एक बार जोरदार तालियां होनी चाहिए सर के लिए। के एम राणा स्टेशन मैनेजर MMCT, इन्होंने जब SS विरार थे तो सेफ्टी शील्ड इन्होंने हासिल किया था। 51,000 रुपए चोरी हो चुके थे जो इन्होंने रिकवर करके दिखाया था, और 4 DRM अवार्ड्स और 1 हेडक्वार्टर लेवल का अवार्ड इन्होंने अचीव किया है।
DRM साहब और सभी ऑफिसर्स, लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, मैं असिस्टेंट स्टेशन मास्टर होकर के रेलवे से ज्वाइन हुआ और स्टेशन मैनेजर के रिटायर हुआ। इस दौरान मुझे बहुत सी तकलीफें भी पड़ी, बहुत से ऑफिसरों ने मेरी फेवर भी की और मैं बहुत खुशी से रिटायर हुआ और आज मेरे लिए खुशी का दिन है। थैंक यू।
धन्यवाद सर। अब मैं एक ऐसे शख्सियत को बुलाना चाहूंगा कि जो भारत जब आजाद हुआ था 15 अगस्त 1947, उसी दिन उनका जन्म हुआ था। तो बहुत ही ये आश्चर्य की बात है कि 15/8/1947 को जन्मे श्री हीरालाल परमार जी, JE MMCT। जब भारत स्वतंत्र हुआ था तो इनके घर में भी खुशियों की लहर उठी थी और इनका जन्म हुआ था 15 अगस्त 1947। अब मैं सर्टिफिकेट और मेडल के लिए सबसे पहले मैं डॉक्टर महुआ हल्दर CMS MMCT को आग्रह करूंगा कि अवार्ड ग्रहण करें। डॉक्टर महुआ हल्दर। फिर मैं डॉक्टर GK सिंह, गोपाल कृष्ण सिंह, ACMS महालक्ष्मी से निवेदन करूंगा कि वे अपना पुरस्कार ग्रहण करें। डॉक्टर अनुपमा वर्मा, डॉक्टर रोशनी बेबी, डॉक्टर स्वाति मीना, डॉक्टर दिनेश गोयल,
जिंदगी मौत से मिल रही है गले, बांध लो अपने सर से कफन साथियों, अब तुम्हारे हवाले वतन साथियों, कर चले हम फिदा जान तन साथियों, अब तुम्हारे हवाले वतन साथियों। खींच दो अपने मुंह से जमीन पर लगी, इस तरफ आने पाए न रावण कोई, तोड़ दो हाथ अगर हाथ।
अब मैं सभी अधिकारीगण से निवेदन करूंगा कि वे पुरस्कार के लिए तैयार रहें।
सीता का दामन कोई, राम भी तुम ही लक्ष्मण साथियों, अब तुम्हारे हवाले वतन साथियों, कर चले हम फिदा जान तन साथियों।
This time we thought we'll show our respect to the entire medical fraternity. In fact, all the doctors have been recognized this because I mean the work what they have done during COVID is tremendous. But not only that, I think the way in which after COVID They have adopted to technology, the cleanliness, housekeeping to ensure that the patient gets the best service possible in a very good environment is something which all the officers should imbibe and ensure that their offices are also maintained cleanly. So we started with this housekeeping exercise around 6 months back, and we wanted every Friday 2 hours to be done. But what I find is this Shramdan, every Friday, every doctor posts in the same web WhatsApp group what I have with the doctors, but the same zeal is not shown by any of the other departments or the officers concerned. I think this is one cue which we need to take, and also there was one circular which was issued by the Railway Board last week, which now it is not just a Shramdan now, it is a mandate which is given by the board for us to follow. So I think I congratulate the doctors for the tremendous service they've done during the COVID, and also the way in which they're showing us the way in patient care, environment and housekeeping. Thank you very much.
Sir, could I speak now?
And CMS ma'am is retiring this next month, October. Okay, I think we will be losing one of the most calm CMSs we had. Request her to say a few words.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you on behalf of all, the whole medical department, myself and all my doctors who could have come today, who made it today here. And I really thank all the officers and DRM sir for being with us always and boosting our morale, especially DRM sir. He's always on the group, WhatsApp group, and encouraging us for every little thing that we are doing, especially Swachhata and all the health days that we are celebrating, and always being with us and boosting our morale. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
सभी अधिकारीगण, पदम सिंह यादव सीनियर डीएमई को एमएमसीटी, पीयूष खंडारे सीनियर डीएम एमएमसीटी, विश्वजीत चौधरी सीनियर डीआरएस एमएमसीटी, आनंद कुमार राय एडीएसटी नॉर्थ बलसाड़, श्यामल कुमार एडीएन सूरत, एम कालीमुथु सीनियर सीडीओ बीडीटीएस, अभय सानप सीनियर डीओएमजी एमएमसीटी, मनोज गोयल सीनियर डीएम ईस्ट नॉर्थ, आर अरुण कुमार सीनियर डीएम नॉर्थ, ए.के. श्रीवास्तव सीनियर डीओ, अरुण कुमार मीना डीसीएम एफएम, रितेश रंजन डीपीओ एमएमसीटी।
कोई जाट मरा था, कोई गुरखा, कोई मदरासी, कोई गुरखा, कोई मदरासी, सरहद पर
I just want to have a few words about this officer. How many of you know him?
सरहद पर मरने
You don't know him?
हर वीर का
He is ADM Surat, Mr. Shyam. I think he's one of the most energetic and involved officers. I mean, in his section and some of the other sections here, I mean, I can just say that we can sleep peacefully in the night. You know, that is the confidence I have with him. And recently we had a very challenging situation on bridge number 369, 369, where there were almost like flash floods occurring in Valsad, Navsari area. And this man was there right through. The ferocity of the water levels were above danger levels. And some portion of the embankment also was washed away for some time. We were all scared. But right from the entire almost 24 to 36 hours, he was there throughout at the spot along with his team and monitoring it continually. So with officers like this, I mean, I think railway is in very, very safe hands. and I'm sure he'll be one of the stars for the future. Thank you. Sanap. Yeah, I don't want to say much about him, or you all know him. I mean, he's my man Friday, whether it is handling the crisis of food poisoning of Shatabdi, or whether it is handling any crisis of any sort. Not only he's a very, very brilliant officer and has a very good, excellent PR skills, which probably very difficult and rare. You know, he melts into the other person's psyche so easily. You know, that is the only word and phrase I can use. You know, and comes out with a problem more often than not. Almost always comes out with a solution to any problem, and no problem is big for him. So I think he's a real asset for the division, and at least during my tenure, I benefited a lot from his advice, almost mostly sagacious advice. It has been a privilege having him in my team. India North MMCT. It should come. Manoj. Yes. Good. Manoj has recently joined us.
Arun Kumar Meena, DCM PM.
Yeah, I think, just give me a minute. I think he has taken over a section which I consider, as far as estate is concerned, one of the most neglected sections in the last decade on the suburban. I mean, a number of works were pending. There were a lot of issues which on encroachments. There were a lot of, what I can say, unattended issues for a long, long time, be it the Dahisar Community Hall or even that Matunga FOB or whatever it is. Initially, we had a bit of difference, but soon I found that he's actually a very involved person and can get things done. His responsibility will be even more now to get all the works done in a record time. Gati Shakti to you. Thank you, sir. Wow. And special word about Arun also. I mean, he has taken over perhaps what is the worst section on Indian Railways, or in at least Bombay Division. I mean, there was no night in which I could at least sleep well, because back of the mind, I was always doubtful what could happen anytime. So, but within a short span of time, maybe around 6 to 7 months since he joined, 4 months since he joined, and he could streamline the system. We got him some resources into the system, and a man who is absolutely passionate about his job. He, in fact, he doesn't have the skin. He has track on his body, actually. I mean, he's so much attached to the job. So essentially, he's doing a great job in all aspects, whether it is the P-way, the bridges, as well as coordination with the DFC or the MRVC, or even doing the estate works. And as a small token of recognition, I thought we'll just have him here today. Yeah. And I'm sure he's one of the marked stars for future as well. Thank you.
Thanks for the kind words. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
CND TRO, I think a very calm person. Actually, takes a lot of brunt of my firing, but
Ritesh Ranjan.
Yeah, he has eliminated the line boxes, and I should be thankful to all the unions, including Prashant, and I think he's not there. He's retired now. I think Patil also is not there, Kiran. I think that was something which was a path breaking, and it was happened after a lot of deliberation and getting inputs from the unions also, WREU, WRMS, and it was a real good job done very smoothly. Thank you. But SPADs have to be controlled.
Sushma Subramanian, DFM 1. Ghanshyam Verma, Senior DST Co.
No, you don't want me to talk a few words on your officer. I mean, yeah, I think Ritesh has joined us maybe a year and a half back. And I mean, a very silent officer who gets things done. You believe less talk and more work. and lets his work speak more than anything else. I think we are really fortunate to have him, and a lot of things get done, whether it is selections or CGA appointments or anything. The background work which is being done in personnel is all the push what he and some of the youngsters in other departments are doing a similar job. I think the personnel department is also in a very safe hands. Thank you. Including the personnel. Yeah. Yeah, she's Shushma Subramanian, she's DFM 2. I think a lot of streamlining of finance has been carried out after she came. She's very knowledgeable, very experienced, and unlike many finance officers who first view with a glass, I don't know whether it's a virtual reality, they don't see the, I mean, it's a bit of a negative lens. She always has a positive lens on, and has been an asset in getting a lot of things done at a rapid pace. In fact, the joint parcel product what we created, I mean, we were left and right purchasing things based on the directive from the board. The way in which she understood the entire concept and the mandate from the board and got things done in a short time was really commendable, and I'm sure that she'll continue to do the great work. More and more is expected now. Thank you.
Ravi Gupta, Senior DMC.
Despite some glitches in the sound, I think, yeah, I mean, you can always find him very shy. He's not doing much, but I should say the way in which this unified command control center has been built and also the ISS systems have been functioning, a lot of credit goes to him. In fact, we were about to discharge that ISS tender somewhere in November 19 through a lot of, because a lot of vested interests, we could get that tender up and running, and the entire project has now seen the light of the day. I don't know how many divisions have the privilege of hosting, how many CRBs we hosted? Two CRBs, two functioning CRBs, one retired CRB, Honorable MR himself, and MOSR all coming and seeing this wonderful creation. I think your work has just begun, so this is the start of it.
Shubhanshu Chaudhary.
Ravi Gupta. So I give him tasks, he's a civil engineer, but I give him tasks like a software program. The time I give is almost like you deliver within 2 days, 3 days, you build a good shed and give it to me. And so unreasonable I am, but he delivers. He delivers. Actually, I mean, I should say very calm. I mean, we have a lot of arguments also, but the way in which he delivers is something which every one of us should imbibe. Very calm, knowledgeable. Whether it is so many things were done in and around Surat. I mean, if you ask me, so after MOSA ma'am has joined, Surat has got a total uplift. I mean, whether it is the passenger amenity system, the COP on platform number 4, the FOB extension from 3 to 4, whether getting the VIP room done, whether getting the Udna goods shed up and running, now the second line being added in Udna goods shed, and in and around, now NEOL is also coming up, and we have to get this Udna and Surat third line, and a lot of collaboration and coordination with the construction will be required, and all this is being done in a total unfazed manner. He has a very good and able deputy under him in Shamal, and together they are working really well, and I'm sure that the division will be benefited out of this teamwork, and we expect more and more of this in the near future. Thank you.
Shubhanshu Chaudhary.
I don't think there has been a August 15th or a Republic Day or a Railway Week without Sudhanshu being awarded. I mean, that much only I can tell you. I mean, I've seen him as an AST, now he's a DST, and I mean, any task, what I give it to him, even outside of the signaling territory, like come out with a scheme for how to make these harmonized jurisdictions work. how to get these functions synchronized among the different deputies, or whether, and is technically very, very proficient in his own domain. Now, perhaps for the first time on Indian Railways, we will shortly be commissioning a total predictive maintenance system on a station called Atul. You know, I mean, it's totally sensor-based, wherein instead of doing periodical maintenance, we will be migrating to a regime of condition-based maintenance. So he has been instrumental in that as well. And I'm looking forward because, as I mentioned, technology is something which we need to leverage as we go forward in almost every aspect of our work. And I look forward for his leadership as well.
Ajay Singh Rajput, DM State South.
Yeah, as he takes his stride here, I think you should all know him. I mean, he has taken over in a very tough time under the previous GM, and he has transformed this entire area. And anything, I mean, whether it is Bandra Health Unit development on the platform, or whether it is doing the works in the JRH, or JRH, the drainage work has been lying for the last decade. And he's the one who has actually put in his mind and came out with a scheme as to how to go about things. And today we stand almost 95% of the basement drainage works of JRH have been completed, and all the estate works in and around, including this Matunga bridge. You are also, Matunga is under you?
No, sir.
Okay. And any work, whether it is small or big, the one person who can actually deliver it quality and in time is Ajay Rajput. Yeah, good.
Alok Chaturvedi, DM MMCT.
Alok is too young to get an award, I think, but still I think I should award him, because I would be failing in my duty if I don't recognize the special efforts of this youngster. He has just come from West Central Railway, and the division has, last year our average freight speeds have been around 25 kilometers per hour, and now the expectations with almost 160 mail express and passenger trains running, the board's expectations are still we should have the same speeds. And we have been pushing very hard. Before he joined, we were struggling to, we did what we could, doing some streamlining and Vasai, extending the runs and other things. But after he came, we took it to the next level, and the level of monitoring what he got is something which is paying us dividends. Like I mentioned, sections of Shamal and sections of Arun. Here in operations, I'm sure that as long as he is there, the best is being done. I need not even look at it. So I really am, we are fortunate to have you here, and I'm looking forward to more and more innovation and taking the division to greater heights.
Deepak Kumar Azad, DSC.
And also he's a lawyer. He's also a lawyer. I mean, I have not seen anyone from civil service with a law background. They have taken law, but not writing a paper in law. So he's a lawyer as well, but a traffic officer. And we are taking special help from him in resolving one of the most ticklish cases of land grabs what we have in Surat, which has been going on for the last 3 decades. Now I am confident that with his inputs, we will be giving a massive push in favor of railways. Sure. Over? Oh God, different.
Rajveer Gopinath, AMG.
He wants to take my mic. It's slowing down the proceedings.
VK Tiwari, ADME. Deepak Gajvi, ADE Power.
Yeah, Rajveer is called the suburban man. I mean, he knows ins and out of every suburban link, motorman link, which path, which train can be introduced, cannot be introduced, and where to stop, where not to stop, where the problem is. He's basically the encyclopedia of the suburban system of Mumbai. Has been, he has almost like 20-25 years, but he's not allowing any additional train to come. So I decided I will take him out from there and put him in another job for some time. And as a safety officer, I think with Shukla's picking up the ropes and not having adequate support under him, I'm sure that his steadfastness will actually do safety a lot. And you know him better than me. So I think he's already started delivering wonders as he did in Suburban, and I wish him all the best.
वीके तिवारी, दीपक गजबे, मिथुन कुमार.
Come.
मिथुन कुमार, मेहताब आलम. सीएम सिंह, सिनेडी पावर. रामेश्वर सहगल, एडीएम. एसआर सरावता, एटीएम सबर्बन. सुनील मिश्रा, सीनियर डीसीएम. राजेश सिंह, सीनियर डीईआरएस. अपूर्व तिवारी, डीएसटी टेली. अजय बर्तवाल, प्रिंसिपल ईटीसी.
He is another officer coming out of Bombay from Pune. He has come recently, and lot of fresh insights he's got into the commercial working. What I find is people normally, when you work in a long time in the same area, your ideas are almost like become static after some time. So we have started getting a lot of very good advice, and now the NFR earnings under him are actually showing multiples of growth, and with the e-auction module also helping, I'm sure that we will soon become the #1 again on Indian Railways as far as non-fare revenue is concerned.
गुड आफ्टरनून एवरीवन. सबको इंडिपेंडेंस डे की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं. बट डिवीजन चलाने के लिए जो मेहनत मुझे पिछले 3 महीने में, आज मुझे 100 दिन हो चुके हैं, पूरे 100 दिन हो चुके हैं यहाँ ज्वाइन करके. मैं खुशनसीब हूँ कि मुझे ये अवार्ड डीआरएम सर के हाथ से मिल रहा है. बट मुझे ये लग रहा है कि पर्सनली 100 दिन में मैंने फील किया कि हमसे कहीं ज़्यादा मेहनत डीआरएम सर करते हैं. मुझे समझ में नहीं आता कितनी एनर्जी, इतना पावर सर कहाँ से लाते हैं. मतलब राउंड द क्लॉक सर इज वर्किंग. तो मतलब मैं सर से कुछ इंस्पिरेशन ले रहा हूँ और अपनी टीम के साथ भी मैं ये बांटना चाहता हूँ और मैं इसको शेयर भी करता हूँ. तो थैंक यू वेरी मच सर. मैम, थैंक यू फॉर गिविंग सच अ नाइस डीआरएम टू अस. थैंक यू.
मैं खींचना चाहता हूँ. ठीक है. See, Rameshwar Saigal actually is one of the most efficient officers. I mean, not brilliant. I mean, he was AN Viara earlier, and as long as he was there, like similar to the Surat section, actually we need not even look at it. I mean, but since, as I mentioned, the toughest section for us was Sinadia North section between Virar to Valsad, Joravasan, and so we forcibly, despite his inclination not to move out of Surat area, something we have done a bit of injustice to him, because we have taken him, a working person, we have moved him out to get some benefit for the organization, and we moved him as AE and the Hanu, even though he didn't like it. But I'm sure that he comes there, he'll set it right. That was the confidence what we had, and true to his mettle, he has actually taken a lot of steps, and I'm sure now we need not even look at it, as long as he's there along with Arun. So we'll see that whatever you want, you get later at a later stage. So I only thought it is apt that we recognize him. He was station manager at Bombay Central, and reluctantly I took him out. He also didn't want to come to as into safety, into operations, to replace this one. But we thought that with all his experience and with Rajveer to go in safety and get his contribution, we want to get him into operations here. And despite all the struggles, now he has increased the number of services from how much? 1367 to 1375 to 1383, and how much?
And 79 we will.
And another 79 he promises before 1st of October. 79. So with 6 rakes of AC coming in to increase it. So I think a lot of value he has added. So very calm person. You never can find out that, but as is the norm, I mean, underneath the surface, there is a lot of depth which is going on. It is only the tip of the iceberg we are seeing him like this. He's a wonderful person.
Thank you.
Great. Sinadi Virar, I think we have one of the most modern sheds in EMU car sheds at Virar. I mean, a lot of issues need to be managed, and what we are looking for is, yesterday we had a very interesting session of getting electrical, electronic and mechanical supervisors of CDO depot, BCT, BDTS, coaching depots as well as car sheds together to share the views and to share the common issues and solutions. And we found a number of common issues that can be resolved. So leveraging common resources in these depots, I think he's taking a lot of lead. He's one of the officers who has done a zero-based review of their own manpower inside the shed, which is the need of the hour. As I mentioned, the operating ratio from 81 going up to almost hundreds. So I only thought it was in the fitness of things that we should recognize him. Thank you. I mean, very calm, uneffacing, but very knowledgeable, and I'm looking forward, apart from the contribution he made to UC Cube, whatever I mentioned about TechAid, now I think he will be leading this TechAid of the division into the new heights. Welcome.
राजेंद्र कुमार शर्मा जी, ADRS तैयार हैं.
He's actually doing 4 or 5 jobs simultaneously. He's the instructor in Virar. He's also works where? In car shed, BCT. A lot of multiple hats for the railways. Not many can take the load what he actually takes. Congrats. Keep doing the good work.
अब मैं यूनियन और एसोसिएशन के पदाधिकारियों को बुलाना चाहूंगा. प्रशांत कनाडे, DS WRU, विजय जगताप, DS ऑल इंडिया SC/ST एसोसिएशन, संजय मरवे, DS ऑल इंडिया OBC एसोसिएशन.
Congrats, sir. Yeah, come. And Prashant, you know him actually. I mean, should I talk or not talk? You all know him more than anything. I mean, he has been there for the last 3 years with us, and last 3 years he has been there in the division for a long time, but with me for the last 3 years. And we, I think, together defined as to what it means to be a participative management. There were a lot of areas of friction, but all have been resolved in a very, very amicable win-win situation. Whether it is elimination of line boxes or whether it is streamlining of a system or MOE issue, there has always been, I think, something to look forward to as a system as to how we should work together. I wish him all the best. Thank you. Great, Vijay. Keep doing the good work.
पारसनाथ सिंह, WRMS से अवार्ड ग्रहण करेंगे किरण पाटिल जी का, जो DSC
थैंक यू
पारसना सिंह। अब अगला जो अवार्ड जाएगा वो सुपरवाइजर्स एंड स्टाफ्स को। तो मैं सबसे पहले रूपाली पर्यवेकर, डिप्टी CTI, संजय अधिकारी, MCF परेल, नीरू वाधवा, CTI भायंदर, मंदार शेट्टे, CBC MMCT, नेपोलियन पवार, डिप्टी CTI BDTS, नंद किशोर भिंगार विवे, CBS सांता क्रूज, अखिलेश दलवी, सीनियर पास पैसेंजर गार्ड चर्चगेट, PR शिवराम अय्यर, LP मेल IT सेल, S नारायण MCF IT सेल, विनय श्रीवास्तव LP पैसेंजर IT सेल, गणेश पालवे SSC सिग्नल IT सेल, केतन M नाइक JE सिग्नल IT सेल।
IT से नारायण, हाँ अभी दूसरा नंबर पे आएगा। आता बरोबर आहे।
अगला नाम मैं बुलाना चाहूंगा हिम्मत सिंह राठौर, TI IT सेल, प्रिंस त्रिपाठी LP गुड्स IT सेल, मुकेश ओमरे मोटरमैन चर्चगेट, प्रदीप तिवारी मोटरमैन चर्चगेट, शैलेंद्र कुमार मोटरमैन चर्चगेट, सुनील आड़व मोटरमैन चर्चगेट।
He is one person in my IT cell. I keep giving work, but he says he's not satisfied. I mean, he gets bored very easily. He says this is not enough, you know. So this time I thought we'll put some machine learning into him and see as to how we'll respond.
अगला नाम मैं बुलाना चाहूंगा रमेश चंद्र मीना, SSC PV बलसाड़, तैयार रहें। संजय शंकर, ट्रैकमैन 3 अंडर SSC PV नवसारी, वैष्णव जोशी, डिप्टी SS कमर्शियल बोरीवली, विशाल गदे OA ऑफिस असिस्टेंट टू DRM, विकास अवार्ड ऑफिस असिस्टेंट टू DRM, भाव साहेब शकाने MLD 1 टू DRM, अगला नाम है नरेंद्र सिंह, CT टू DRM, कुलदीप गुजर कांस्टेबल टू DRM, शत्रुघ्न बेहरा SSC इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स लैब MMCT, अनिकेत उपाध्याय जेई CNW MMCT, उमेश गुप्ता CPWI दादर, गिरीश व्यास SSC इन्वेस्टिगेशन कारसेड MMCT, विपेश कुमार जैन SSC मैकेनिकल SNW और CNW MMCT, RP यादव SSC राजधानी MMCT, प्रमोद कहार SSC ब्रेक कारसेड MMCT, धनंजय गुप्ता कारसेड MMCT SSC, नितिन कुमार JEW सूरत।
I think these 2 or 3 people ahead and now all this 4 or 5 who are coming here, these are the actual backbones of the coaching and the EMU rolling stock. I mean, these are senior supervisors who actually manage the entire work of reliability, availability, maintenance, safety. All these aspects are taken care of by them. They are absolutely knowledgeable and a lot of passionate about their own work. And we thought that this time we will definitely take this opportunity to award all of you.
अगले पुरस्कार विजेता हैं संदेश शिपलकर CCMI MMCT, संजय पाटिल CLS सूरत, रमीज खान CLC सूरत, दिनेश वासनिक सीनियर SSC MOCC UCC MMCT, अजय इसोमपाली SSC MOCC UCC, रिचर्ड वर्गीस SSC MOCC and UCC, सुरेश इनामदार SSC MOCC and UCC, उथया कुमार TCM MOCC UCC, विनोद निकुंब SSC MOCC UCC, अपर्णा बागरे SSC सिग्नल कंट्रोल MMCT, आनंद कुवालेकर SSC PCBCT, then Sanjay Mokal SSC TL MMCT, Uday Mistry SSC ACC MMCT, नियाज अंसारी CI ETC विरार, जितेंद्र शर्मा SI ETC विरार, त्रिलोचन बेहरा स्टिमुलेटर विरार, PVM राव विरार, उल्हास नांद्रेकर स्टिमुलेटर विरार, मनोज मोडघरे विरार, राजेश शिंदे विरार।
How many of you know Kavalkar? Huh? What is he recognized for? SSC है, इतना ही है. और इसके अलावा इसका टेक्निकल का काम के बारे में क्या पता है आपको? I think he is one of the persons who continues to innovate a lot of papers. I think the circuit for the LHB EOG power system into the train lighting, AC and that electrical sockets for charging. He was instrumental in the team which developed these circuits, and a very passionate man. I'm looking forward for a lot of guidance from him in a number of areas now. He says he wants to talk about me.
Hello, gentlemen. This is our DRM sir. In a crucial period, that is COVID period, no one has to touch anywhere, anything. But this man is morning at BCT, evening at Balsar, something in Surat for श्रमिक स्पेशल. सो इनका जो क्रूशल ये जो पावर है, ही इज वेरी गुड.
You know how he knows this? Because he keeps a tab on the carriage movements. So whenever he knows exactly where I go.
थैंक यू वेरी मच. जैसे हमारे इतने इफिशिएंट, जिनसे हमको मेरे से इंस्पायर होना चाहिए. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
आप सबसे सीखेंगे ना पहले. थैंक यू. आइए.
महेंद्र पिपले, सीनियर क्लर्क. अशोक generator.
These 2, 3, 4, 5 people, all of them are from Virar. And these are instructors. Come. Mr. Sharma. And I think these people are actually the backbone behind the type of people whom we come to get on the field. The training, what they impart is what makes them what they are when they come out onto the field and work. I mean, I've seen them in close quarters in the last 10-15 days, and they're doing a tremendous amount of work, normally not recognized. So I thought it is very, very important for us to take this training component as one of the most vital components for development of HR. So, and that is the reason why I thought we should recognize them, because we don't get to see them on a day-to-day basis in the front line. Yeah, really knowledgeable and wonderful people.
Okay, thank you.
Come. Great work here. Keep doing the great work.
Thank you, sir.
Unless we keep them motivated, no. I mean, they can do wonders with the manpower. Good. Great job. Keep doing the work. हो गया, हाँ? Very much, sir. Doing the work.
महेंद्र पिपले, सीनियर क्लर्क. अशोक दवंडे, जनरेटर. शिव सिंह, ऑफिस असिस्टेंट. उमेश पाटिल, ऑफिस असिस्टेंट. संजय कनौजिया, ऑफिस असिस्टेंट. इनको खाली मेडल प्रदान किया जाएगा. हो गया, ये हो गया।
एंडिंग वंदे मातरम से करना है।
एक मिनट। नील गगन में यूं ही फहराता रहेगा अपना तिरंगा, नील गगन में यूं ही फहराता रहेगा अपना तिरंगा, फिर इसे झुकने ना देंगे। बढ़ जाए कदम गर कारवां की ओर तो फिर इसे रुकने ना देंगे। यूं ही चलता रहेगा सिलसिला ध्वजारोहण का, ऐ मेरे देशवासियों अपनी यह स्वतंत्रता हम कभी छीनने ना देंगे। अब मैं माननीय डीपीओ जी से निवेदन करूंगा कि वे वोट ऑफ थैंक्स दें। डीपीओ रितेश रंजन जी।
आज़ादी के अमृत महोत्सव पर इस समारोह के अध्यक्ष माननीय मंडल रेल प्रबंधक महोदय जी का मैं आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। श्रीमान ने अपने भाषण में मंडल रेल कर्मियों द्वारा किए गए उत्कृष्ट कार्यों का वर्णन करते हुए उनकी काफ़ी सराहना की है और हम इसके लिए मंडल रेल प्रबंधक महोदय जी का बहुत आभार व्यक्त करते हैं। मैं WRWLO की अध्यक्षा श्रीमती शीला सत्य कुमार को भी धन्यवाद देता हूं कि उन्होंने हमारा निमंत्रण स्वीकार किया और WRWLO के अन्य पदाधिकारियों के साथ इस समारोह की शोभा बढ़ाई है। इस समारोह के विशेष अतिथि जो सेवानिवृत्त रेल कर्मचारी थे, मैं उनका भी धन्यवाद करता हूं। मैं सभी अपर मंडल प्रबंधक महोदयों, शाखा अधिकारीगण तथा अन्य अधिकारियों को उनकी इस उपस्थिति के लिए आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। मैं यूनियन तथा एसोसिएशन के मंडल पदाधिकारियों को उनकी उपस्थिति के लिए धन्यवाद देता हूं। इस समारोह के सफल आयोजन के लिए मैं इंजीनियरिंग, इलेक्ट्रिकल, SNT, जनरल एडमिन विभागों को उनके सहयोग के लिए विशेष रूप से धन्यवाद देता हूं। मैं कार्मिक विभाग, वेलफेयर टीम, जैनेटर स्टाफ तथा अन्य सपोर्ट स्टाफ को उनके प्रयासों के लिए आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। मैं RPF टीम को उनके परेड के लिए धन्यवाद देता हूं तथा सांस्कृतिक टीम, स्काउट गाइड टीम तथा रेलवे स्कूल वलसाड के छात्र छात्राओं को उनके मंत्रमुग्ध प्रदर्शन के लिए विशेष रूप से धन्यवाद देता हूं। इस कार्यक्रम के सफल आयोजन के लिए माननीय मंडल रेल प्रबंधक महोदय जी ने निम्न पुरस्कारों की घोषणा की है, जो कि इस प्रकार है। इंजीनियरिंग डिपार्टमेंट 15,000 रुपये, वेलफेयर 12,000 रुपये, जनरल ब्रांच जैनेटर 3,000 रुपये, RPF परेड एंड बैंड 17,500 रुपये, टेलीकॉम 5,000 रुपये, कल्चरल टीम 1 3,000 रुपये, ये हमारी जो डिविजनल टीम है उनके लिए है। टीम 1 3,000 और टीम 2 के लिए 3,500 रुपये। रेलवे स्कूल के बच्चों के लिए 5,000 रुपये, स्कॉट एंड गाइड टीम के लिए 5,000 रुपये, इलेक्ट्रिकल डिपार्टमेंट 6,500 रुपये, कैटरिंग के लिए 5,500 रुपये। मैं सभी पुरस्कार विजेताओं को उनकी उपलब्धि के लिए धन्यवाद देता हूं। अंत में मैं कर्णप्रिय उद्घोषणा के लिए उद्घोषक का भी आभार व्यक्त करता हूं तथा YouTube लिंक से जुड़े हुए हमारे जितने भी श्रोतागण हैं उनका भी मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।
हेलो, धन्यवाद सर। मैं यहाँ पर उपस्थित सभी महानुभावों से निवेदन करूंगा कि कृपया वे खड़े हो जाएं और राष्ट्रगीत वंदे मातरम की शुरुआत होने जा रही है, तो शुरू करें।
वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, सुजलाम सुफलाम मलयज शीतलाम सस्यश्यामलां मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरम् शुभ्रज्योत्स्नां पुलकितयामिने फुल्लकुसुमितद्रुमदलशोभिनी सुहासिनीं सुमधुरभाषिणीं सुखदां वरदां मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरं। भारत माता की
जय। मैं